Here we go. 5, 4, 3.
Welcome, everyone, and pull up a seat at the table. It is Lunchtime in Rome. Tonight is episode 168, entitled Joe Mitlo, 1 year later. What's it like to be the guy that everyone believes has it all together, but inside you have every doubt in the world? What's it like to be left alone at college and not know how you're going to make it through the weekend, let alone the entire school year? What's it like to be that guy 1 year later? We're talking about that at the table this evening. So pull up a seat at the table and join us. First-time listeners can subscribe on your favorite podcast app, watch us live at lunchtimeinrome.com/live, or listen directly on lunchtimeinrome.com. While there, you can take our relational needs questionnaire. Make sure to follow us on all social media, and it would be great if you gave us a 5-star review. Jay, what specifically is this podcast about?
Being alone is the worst. Good times aren't as good, and bad times are worse when you're all alone. Romans 12:15 says to rejoice with those who rejoice, mourn with those who mourn. That is how you keep people from being alone, and what this podcast is all about. We demonstrate that in the first 15 minutes of the podcast, and we talk about it for the rest. So while it may not be 12:15 in Rome, we're treating it like it is
Lunchtime in
Rome. It's
Hey, fellas.
whole new day.
Hi, everyone. It is. It's a whole new day, a whole new studio. This is, if anybody's watching instead of just listening, I feel
Where can you watch online? Where can you watch live?
Oh, you can watch live on lunchtimeinrome.com/live or on YouTube.
Yes.
.com or your favorite YouTube.
You can actually watch on lunchtimeinrome.com live. I still sound tinny, by the way.
That's what it says in the show notes.
Well, it must be true.
lunchtimeinrome.com/live.
Yeah, it is.
Is that true, Eric?
That's true.
It's true.
That's true.
It's true.
Eric's not on the mic tonight, though.
No,
Because
he's
we have
here
Joe
though.
Mitlo.
Hi.
Oh, hi, Joe.
Hi, Chris.
No, I feel a little exposed. Like it's a little brighter in here. You know what I mean? Like it's a little.
Crazy.
It's very cozy. I won't say that, but when I look up at the screen, I'm like, wow, my face is white. Like it is like.
Oh, I didn't know if by exposed you meant like I might see like a red dot on my forehead by a sniper or something.
Oh
like that.
gosh.
Oh, whereas I went, his secret sin got revealed.
Oh,
I thought he just meant he was chilly.
or his fly was open.
Wow.
me check. No,
we're
we're
downstairs. We're not in the basement, though, okay?
Oh, okay.
We're not in the gutter.
That's right. We're in the
not there
basement,
yet.
not the gutter. Yeah. Let me give you guys a little update. Guess what?
What?
My son called today.
Ben?
Yeah, from band camp
What did he
at
have to say?
Bradford campus of University of Pittsburgh. What did he have to say, Brian? Let's see. He has COVID.
Oh, okay.
He is quarantined at band camp in the quarantine space with other people who have gotten COVID. They've had a little bit of a slight
little COVID hospital.
outbreak. Yeah, it's the COVID wing of Bradford dormitory, I guess. I don't know, but he's a little frustrated about
That's
that. Obviously,
Oh, Ben.
they won't let him out of there unless like we go get him.
What a crappy way to start your college,
Right?
your second year of college.
Benny.
Dude. Sorry, Ben.
Poor guy. He called me tonight. He's like, can
little guy.
anybody come get me? And I'm like, this is really bad timing because I start work tomorrow, and it's a 3-hour drive to Bradford. So a 6-hour round trip. I mean, it's a whole day. You've got to have a day in order to go do that.
And meanwhile, in my mind, I'm like, well, let me see. Are there any disc golf courses up there? No, I
You
can't
want
go
to head
get
up
them.
there tomorrow to get him?
I could bring my basket, but I don't know.
And you just, yeah, you know.
Yeah, I mean,
Well, that stinks.
What are you gonna do? Yeah, so I don't know. We're gonna talk to Mama about it, but she's got a lot on
it's
her
not like
plate
you want
right
to get
now.
into a car with a kid with COVID.
Well, that's true. Yeah, I mean,
Especially as you start school tomorrow.
right. It's all true.
I mean, Ben does ride in the car like a dog with his head out the window, so how bad could that be?
Here's the thing, though. He is asymptomatic.
Oh, is he? Oh, wait.
It doesn't count anymore.
No, he had to take.
Like
they
he's in
all-
college, though, so
They all had to take a test as like entry back into college. You know what I mean?
boy.
He hasn't felt sick. He has no symptoms. Nothing. So they ordered some more rapid tests to arrive, but they're only there for 2 more days. So whether they get, I don't know. So he's stuck in there until he obviously would test negative or.
But if he keeps testing positive, he's not going to be allowed to ride on the bus home.
Ben gets stuck at Bradford. That would be fun.
I'll go get him on Saturday.
Good old Bradford Ben.
So that's a little
Well,
serious.
at least he's
but
not sick.
At least, right? He feels fine. He's just stuck in a room with a bunch of people.
So he was going to band camp. What was his days going to be filled with? Band stuff?
Yeah.
So what's he doing?
That's how they do it.
So what's he doing? Are they still doing band stuff in the hospital wing, the COVID wing?
No,
They
unfortunately.
can't even blow their instruments?
I mean, I don't know. That's a really good question. Could they practice
I wasn't trying.
like
I honestly.
on their own? Maybe.
Well, yeah.
Yeah,
I mean,
but they're
somebody-
not like with the group, like learning the drill on the field.
Certainly,
and that
yeah.
sort of
Certainly
thing.
not
Yeah.
formations.
Yeah, exactly. So that's a struggle for him right
unfortunate.
now, and it sucks. And in a way, and I do feel for him, but as you have heard, sometimes all I can do is laugh anymore. We had a bed bug scare at home.
Turns out, just fleas.
No, it turns out, thankfully, because I was online right away. I bought a steamer. I bought like these bed bug traps, like all these things.
Oh.
Turns out it's just a little poison ivy from disc golfing. Like I thought I was getting.
So there was no bed bugs.
Yeah, no bed bugs. I thought I was getting bitten up, but as the days, these past 2 days, as they've progressed, I've looked at my legs and I've been like, oh yeah, that's poison ivy. So
From what, Monroeville?
I guess, yeah. I don't know. So that's fun. Oh, and one more thing, real quick. This was I bet I got a lot done today on my last day off before work.
Boo.
One of which I installed a cat door.
A cat door.
Yeah.
How do you install a cat door?
Well, you cut a hole in your human door, and you there's this little
That is an
Made.
accomplishment.
Yeah,
It-
it is.
It went
What kind of
fairly
saw did you
well.
use?
I actually had to buy a new saber saw. It's one of those tools that I have wanted but never owned. So
Saber saw.
like a jigsaw but bigger, so it can do some outdoor
Short
stuff
of a sawzall.
Trying to think of the size.
Reciprocating.
It is a reciprocating saw. Yes, it is a reciprocating saber saw. Yes, it is those things. So I went right through the door, and in a little square, and then you pop the door on, and you put some sealant around it so that the air and water doesn't come in from the outside, and boom. And it's not really to the outside; it's to our screen and porch, so that the kitties can go and hang out in their favorite spot. That's what I got, guys. That's my life.
How are you feeling about school tomorrow and the rest of the year?
That's a lot, man, the rest of the year. But tomorrow I can do. Tomorrow.
I'm showing him pictures, and for the podcast, he's nodding.
Well, I didn't know if you wanted me to.
Yeah, it's more of a sawzall.
Okay, yeah, it's the big, the big thing. It's like a sawzall.
And we've come full circle.
So no, I'm looking forward to work. I am, although even with all my stories, though, life has actually started to slow down a little bit in the past week. So that's hence me being able to sort of hang around the house and get things done today, and that felt really good. So now I'm like, I wish I could kind of just stay home and do more of that instead of going to work. But I'm not dreading it. I'm not. I'm like, I'm ready.
This is how many years for teaching for you?
20
plus?
23rd, I think.
Gosh.
Yeah.
You've
Started
been
in 1999.
You've been teaching longer than I've been alive.
It's true, Joe.
Wow.
It's true.
So,
What you got going on, Bri?
I'm bumming about the weather, man. Bumming about this weather.
Oh, yeah, because it's been cooler.
It's been cold and rainy, but what are you
Yeah.
going to do? Last week I went camping with Ethan. He and I went down to the Laurel Hills and set up a tent and just were there one night and made a fire and just hung out, had some good conversations. That kid's just got a fantastic brain. Just the things he thinks, and like we were talking about space and timelines and reality. Like it was a really fun. We got up the next morning and then had some breakfast at a bed and breakfast and came home. So it was a real short trip, but it was a lot of fun, and it was really
Good weather?
really meaningful. It was nice, yeah. It was
Probably good camping weather, not to be too hot.
it was like rain had passed through right as we were getting there and setting up. So we realized when we got up there that we didn't bring a hoodie
Oh.
or anything to be warm. So we ended up driving to up to Somerset for to go to Walmart, got ourselves some hoodies, and then I'm really glad we had them because when we slept that night, I mean, it probably got down to 50, 49, something like that.
What were you sleeping in?
A tent.
But
Sleeping
insulated
bag.
sleeping bags.
I had a sleeping bag and like a heavy comforter. Ethan had 2 comforters. So, but I brought like jammy pants.
Yeah, you did.
And with my hoodie, I slept really good. Ethan slept pretty good too, but the hoodies were key. Those were good. So, anyways, we got there. We went and got the hoodies, and by the time we got back from doing that, everything cleared out. We did mountain pies, and again, just talked for like an hour and a half, 2 hours around the fire. So, short trip, but really good trip.
And one of those things you'll like, no matter what, you'll remember that.
Oh yeah,
And he will.
yeah. And I'd felt bad because for the past couple of years he'd been wanting to go camping. Like he and Abby have been going to summer camp for a week, but he's been wanting to also go camping either as a family or with me. And the past couple of years it's been like, yeah, we'll do that. And then it's December, and so I wanted to make sure this year that we did that. And so I was really glad that we were able to do that. And then Saturday, so we did that Thursday night into Friday, maybe when the shooting was happening right on my street in Penn Hills.
Oh no.
We'll talk. Yeah. So came home Friday, and then Friday was my anniversary, 21st anniversary. And then, so Saturday, Lex and I went out. We went down to Aspinwall to a place called the Front Porch. The food was okay,
But it was fresh.
It was fresh. It wasn't bad. But I wouldn't be like, oh, I'm going to go back there. For
Do you know that I saw Lex at all? Did she tell you?
She said the same thing.
Yeah, she's like, it was really fresh. I'm like, do you guys eat a lot of stale food restaurants, or like,
Well, I mean, it was like,
why is that the one thing you guys? You're like, it wasn't great, but it was fresh. It was fresh.
It was good. But we split the salmon, and it was very fresh salmon. But like the ingredients, they were green and they weren't.
You're like, this does not smell rancid.
Odd. But it was really good atmosphere, really good service, and then we went and saw Top Gun Maverick. And
How was it?
I definitely shed a couple tears, dude. It had all the feels.
I gotta see it.
Yeah, it was good. So really great time with her. Very meaningful, and just another big weekend. We've had like 2 in a row now, with the disc golf and Eric's birthday 2 weeks ago, and then this big weekend.
This week going up to Bradford.
Yeah, this weekend going up to Bradford.
Book, baby.
That's right. Picking
It
up
is
Ben.
locked and loaded.
Trying to finally get COVID from myself. We'll see.
There's always hope, my man. There's always hope.
Yeah.
So for me, I'm going to give my update in the microcosm of one day. So Rachel's back to work, and so now I wake up every day at 5:30 and say, "Oh, I'm so sorry, you have to get up." But the good news is she found out she has to get up now at 5:15, so that's good for her. But I got up today and I took my mother to the dollar store, and she is very frail. And for the first time ever, even if she has the cart at the dollar store, I took like 2 steps away and I was like, not on my watch. Yeah. So I just went back because like she just kind of turned, and I thought, oh, she's going to hit her head right on that bottom thing, and it's going to be my fault. I mean, I'm okay with it, but other people won't be. So
she would be okay with it too,
she
right?
would be what? She'd
She
have
actually
to,
wants, she tries to.
Yeah.
You
Right.
have to stop her.
Jay,
yeah,
would
you dive
would
underneath her
yeah,
as
Jay,
she
would you
dives.
stick your foot out in front of me as
Yeah.
I walk so I can trip?
And of course, it was on my way to pick her up, a woman was driving 20 miles an hour down Jefferson Road, and then a woman was driving around mom's apartment complex, maybe 5. So it starts off that way. Get her to the dollar store, 200 to 300 people in line. I may be exaggerating, but it was the longest line I've had at the dollar store. And my mother
in the
is
shopping center?
Yeah,
Yeah.
far less patient than I am.
Uh-huh.
I mean, and she's sitting there, oh, honey, you picked the wrong line. We should go to the other line. I'm like, Mom, that lady right there, as long as she's the one. And I'm making friends. Oh, is that your mother? Yeah, it's my mother. And we're having a great time, except it's taking a long time. And we're leaving there to go to Seneca Place to visit one of her friends. Seneca Place is the rehabilitation center at Seneca. And so these are people who have been injured, and they're there, and it's a nursing home. My mother doesn't like retirement homes. My mother doesn't like assisted living. For dadgum sure, she doesn't like rehabilitation nursing homes. You could not take her to a more scary haunted house than walking her through Seneca Place.
Now, what does that do? Your mom is not a spring chicken, so
90.
what does that do to her? Like, what's
She's
she feeling
definitely
in that
afraid
moment?
of being placed in one of those places.
Okay.
And she doesn't want to be a burden. She doesn't want to experience that. She doesn't want to be around those people.
Do you think it's in the back of her head that like
It's in the
you're
very
gonna
front
like
of her head.
he's gonna leave me here?
Today's the day. I never
Yeah.
thought it would
Now you're
come.
thinking about it.
It's how we would have to do it. Well, she's not very strong anymore, so we could. But the point is, so we had to go see her friend, and of course, this lady is in the very end of the one hallway. So we've got to walk past people who are walking past us. We got to go past the what was it called? It's the shower room or the bathing room or whatever. And like people are going by like on walkers and it's just like if you just made something that is the most scary thing for you, that's it. On the way to see her friend, so we go in and there's her poor friend out cold asleep in her bed at 11:15 in the morning. Not to be fair, she actually looked pretty good. She woke up, they had a nice little visit, and it's crazy because here's my mom, and man, she's 90, and yet here she is, the strong one for her friend. And we're talking about memories and everything else, and you can just tell she's like, well, okay, I can't be here for 5 more seconds, so
Like
we
her
leave
skin's
there.
crawling, she's itching her skin.
We went to go visit Jan's mom, Mary, who's just up in the assisted living up in Seneca Village, and we walk in. Sure enough, end of the hallway, and there everybody is physically fine. They're just older, and so it's okay. But she's still like, nope, don't want to be here either. But Mary was doing great. Mary's ready to see us, so that was great for mom. A good relief. Get mom home, go to the high school, coach for 4 hours, cut 14 girls from the volleyball team. We had 41 tryout. Girls soccer
Blessing, right? I mean,
girls soccer has 15 girls total.
Wow.
No cuts. They have no JV.
Wow.
Every sport doesn't have enough players.
Except volleyball.
I got 41.
Wow.
And that has been crazy on my heart because I want to keep as many as possible. But last year we kept as many as possible, and it was a train wreck with some of the kids we kept. And I always do it. I'm a Mr. Emotional Needs guy, and so we do it face to face. I don't just post a picture or post a list. Hey, if I'm going to cut you, I'm going to tell you why. I'm going to tell you what you didn't do right or where you fell short. And I love it because it always makes my assistant coach, normally it's Todd, this year it's Nick, they just died. Like Todd's like, well, I'm not the assistant coach, so you will not see me on Wednesday. And for some, your heart really breaks. And for others, it's sort of, one girl I did think was going to take a swing at me. I mean, she's a new girl, didn't come to open gym all summer, wasn't very good. And I like Nick's a security guard or some sort of security. I don't want to diminish his role. And he goes, I actually put my hand, like he was ready to go because this girl was going to take a swing at me. And she's 5'1", 13 years old. But then I left there and went to pre-marriage teaching with a young man and young woman who I am marrying, who both played volleyball for me.
Wow.
So I got to experience, my poor mother's anxiety and angst and reflection on life. I got to see young girls be elated that they made the team. Other girls just, like one poor girl who I do care about so deeply, just started sobbing right there right there when I told her. And what are you going to do? And so then to finish it with them and then to get to sit here with my boy, it's a full day.
That is a full day.
It's a
Had
wide
the full
range.
spectrum of emotions.
And I have to go home and grind sausage because Rachel's out of breakfast sausage. So I seasoned it yesterday and cut it, but now I have to grind it.
So she does eat breakfast before she leaves.
Oh, she has to.
Yeah.
But she used to be famished by the time lunch came around at 10:30.
Yeah, that's like a 6:15 breakfast or something.
Oh,
Right?
not even.
Wow.
5:45. But now she does 2 eggs and 2 pieces of sausage. Good to go.
Good.
Never hungry. It's almost like protein satiates. Whatever.
It's good stuff.
Yeah.
Does she do a protein shake too?
Nope.
No?
No.
the gym?
Before workout.
Okay. I was going to say because she does have protein powder.
Yeah, that's before workouts.
Gotcha.
But I'm excited to be here with
Yes,
my
sir.
boy. In general, Joe, how are you, man?
I am good. In general, I am good. I got a new job working at Chick-fil-A.
Oh, that's
Working in
right.
the
Ever
kitchen.
heard of it?
Ever
Long
heard
hours,
of it?
huh? To start.
My first week, I worked 3 12-hour shifts.
You're not 17 anymore.
No, I am not. No.
Now, not to jump ahead, but just job-related question: are you I mean, you did just start, so you're planning on keeping this during the school year?
Yeah, I'm gonna do Friday, Saturday, Mondays.
Okay, like Friday
Mondays?
evening.
I have classes on Monday, but they end at 3, so I can come back and work.
Yeah, you're getting that parking permit.
Is there a Chick-fil-A down in
I ain't
Oakland?
driving
Or
you back
Oakland?
and forth.
There's one in the stadium,
Oh,
but it's a weird. Like you have to work at every
It's like
restaurant.
Aramark owns it.
okay.
Or AccuSure, whoever owns.
Oh, stop.
Don't say that.
And by
So
the way,
you're
Not a
at your
sponsor. Not a sponsor.
You're gonna come back.
Acrisure.
You're gonna come back from Oakland to Monroeville to work at that one.
Yes.
Good.
I know all of the Chick-fil-A secrets now.
Ooh. How many
there
are there?
aren't many.
I was going to say, I hope they're good secrets, or I'm going to be disappointed.
You and Lex can spill the tea about it.
Right.
Ironically enough, the cow that they use that says eat more chicken? All of their chicken, actually cow.
Did
That'd
not
be
know
a
that.
heck of a secret.
I did
Wouldn't
not
it,
realize
though?
that.
Not true at all.
Not a secret I would know either. The chicken comes in bags, so
No, it's fresh. Aren't you on plucking duty?
and I take the beak off of the chicken, and I grind it up and season the chicken with it.
Right before they kill them, just to,
Yeah.
so they can't scream? Because the beak's where the scream comes from.
Right, the vocal cords.
No, that's completely different. But you like it so far?
I do. I really do like it. Apparently, I'm learning very fast, is what they all tell me. So,
Well, tell them what you did your first day, which was early. You were supposed to have more training before you got into the kitchen.
well, my first day, I boxed nuggets for 7 hours straight. And then I went home. Next day, I came back and I was on fryers, the pressure cookers or whatever you want to call them. And everyone was telling me, like, why are you on that right now? I was like, I don't know. They told me to do it and they trained me to do it. And they're like, I haven't done that for like a year. And like, apparently Lex said, what did she say? That it takes a long time to get to.
She was like, they had him on
Yeah.
nuggets on day 2?
Yeah, I mean,
She's like, it takes 6 months to get somebody on there.
the training is really good at Chick-fil-A, and it's not like it's over like a 2 or 3 week period, and you're going through testing and stuff like that at least, and part of so this is so interesting because when Lex worked there, she was the training coordinator and training director. So I don't like she might have left and like F all
They're
that
like,
stuff.
gosh, she's gone. Woo!
Yeah.
Well, I've taken tests, but it's not like I have to think about them.
They're
Joe-
like,
Well,
can you
you're-
count
you're
8
incredibly-
nuggets?
Remember where the bar
Yeah.
is set a lot of times,
Right.
And
Joe-
you're high above the bar.
So you're in the kitchen. You're not at the register.
Correct.
Do the kitchen staff, do they say "my pleasure" to each other
No.
every time something?
At least I don't.
I would
Maybe
love
as,
it.
Like,
if,
as ironic,
that would
as an
make
ironic
my
joke.
week. If you're like,
I need more nuggets. My pleasure.
My pleasure, sir.
I think that's only towards the customer.
No, I've never actually said my pleasure to someone.
So you're not really an employee. Maybe that was in the training.
What's in
Oh,
the
you
training?
missed
It's
it.
in
I
the
did
training
the training.
for,
No,
for a
I've done the
customer.
training.
I thought you only had like day 1 of training. I thought it was supposed to be like 3 modules.
Joe shrugs.
I do what they give me, and I forget about it.
They're gonna hand him the keys to the place one time and just be like, I don't. Dude, how'd you get that? I don't know. I just showed up
handed
and
me the
was
keys.
Kind
They
of
said,
like
open the door.
I was kind of like an adult. I don't
Say
know.
congratulations.
I worked
and-
hard.
I don't know what it means.
Have you gotten paid? Are you sure you work there?
Yes. Yes, I have gotten
Good.
Yeah, like the Kramer when they have to fire.
Yeah. I don't
How do
even
we-
work here.
That's what makes it so hard.
No, the owner, he's a good guy. That owner's a good guy.
Brian?
Yeah. He'll do like Christmas, pick parties and stuff like that, and they're a good time. I mean, maybe he won't do them now, but he used to.
Could have been a training thing.
Could have been a training thing. Maybe I started working at Chick-fil-A and I don't even remember.
You don't know.
Chick-fil-A does not train anymore.
Yeah, there's no training anymore.
That's my secret.
Wow.
So you're working at Chick-fil-A,
Yes.
keeping it up 3 days a week.
Yeah.
No, how much longer do you have before classes start?
A week and a half. So I move into the apartment on next Friday, 26th. And
Into
then,
the COVID wing. No, just kidding. Ben will be fine by then.
He's fine now. Go on.
Yeah.
He has natural immunity now.
And then the next day I jump right into ROTC in that morning. So I have to be down there
And
Yeah.
when do classes
Friday.
start?
Monday.
Oh, so ROTC and classes start the following Monday.
Yeah.
Fair.
How's that re-entry into ROTC
I'm looking
for
forward
you?
to
Are
it.
you?
Yeah, like the routine. Because I'm not a person that has to like worry about getting up at 5 in the morning. Like,
Okay.
I don't have a problem with it.
Because I was just going to ask, have you been doing that? Are you going to have to condition yourself a little bit?
No, I can. I've that school year has conditioned me already to like be able to run on 4.5 hours of sleep or whatever it is. First off, so no, I don't think it'll be a problem. I hope not.
Yeah.
But I'm looking forward to the routine of it, like the mandatory workouts in the mornings, just to get it over with, and then you have a day ahead of you.
Selfish question.
Sure.
So,
Do you think
You get
Chris
up-
could be in ROTC?
Do you think I could do it?
Do you think I could come watch you guys work out?
I already know
Just
the
saying.
answer to that. The answer is no.
I'll be 500 feet away or whatever it is.
I use binoculars normally.
Stop it. No,
I'm on
my
the 30th floor of Kathy.
my actual question is: so you get up at 4:30, off of 4.5 hours of sleep. You take a little nappy later in the day.
Oh, yeah. Oh, well, it's a science.
Oh.
You get back from ROTC.
At what time?
8
Okay.
second sleep.
Taken
You
after
do
your
the second
father.
sleep.
That's a 90-minute second sleep. You get that in. And if you're feeling adventurous later in the day,
I like that.
you take a nap.
I like a guy who calls a nap adventurous. That's great. I'm right there
second-
with you.
Second
Well, because
sleep,
I never set alarms for my naps.
second sleep and nap are two distinctly
Oh,
different
absolutely.
things.
Absolutely. It's a science. Yeah, you turn the lights off for second sleep. You get under all your covers for second sleep. The nap, the lights could be fully on.
So your class schedules, you do ROTC, and then your class schedule permits the second sleep. You have enough time between
Yeah.
ROTC and.
It
My
can.
first class is at like 11 every day.
Oh, okay.
Isn't not having to take freshman classes glorious? Don't
Yes.
they still do that,
Oh,
right?
they did. They
like,
were too. There
Freshman
was, like-
classes are all like shoved into the morning.
They were weird. They weren't in the morning, but they were just dumb classes. Like this intro to college and like a
And you took
don't be
and you took it
racist
for the whole
class.
first semester.
Yeah.
We
And then-
laugh,
So like
but that's
you're
a
in
real name
November,
of a class.
but you're in November taking intro to college.
Right. Well, and then next semester I'm taking like big ideas in computer science. Meanwhile, I'm already in computer science classes, so I
Right.
know all of the information.
But it's
Yeah.
a prereq.
don't know.
How are you? How are you?
Just a baby.
How did you like
a baby.
the end of school last year? When you were done, how did you like what you took away as far as the computer science and learning what you want to do?
Well, so it was a struggle at like my first semester I took intermediate programming, which was like a step ahead of every other. Like you could get placed into one of two programming classes. Mm-hmm. I took intermediate programming. I might have told this story last year. I couldn't have because I wasn't on the podcast.
Correct.
Right. That the
Wait, you
professor-
haven't been on the podcast?
No,
Last
not
year
since
I
he's
was,
been
but not
in
since
college.
college.
Oh,
He was in
I was like, I
113.
swear we talked to you last year.
That he was giving out the criteria for the final project, and he was like, and you have 2 weeks to do it, and it's the hardest one yet. And I was done before he was speaking.
Oh, all right.
I turned in and I got 101 in the class. And then next semester I take 2, because I'm like, oh, if it's like this, I can just do that. And then it got harder. It got a lot harder. A lot more technical things, a lot more.
Sure.
But then I finished, and my ideas of what I wanted to do stayed the same. Like, I still want to go into artificial intelligence. I still want to do cyber for the military. But then there's, like, my brain has automatically, like, made pathways for, like, hey, if it doesn't work out, you can still do this in the military, or you can go into this wing of our computer science. So I have backups if things, like, if I learn, like, oh, I really hate this.
Right.
With the track that you're on, do you have a major and a minor? Like,
I have a major. I will declare my major in the spring for computer science, and then I'm working for a certificate in American Sign Language.
Oh, interesting. Oh,
I don't
taken
need
after your mama.
And the father, I got to do it.
You know sign language?
I figured it out.
Okay, he figured he gets it.
I get it.
He gets it.
I get it. It drives Rachel crazy when I say that, but she doesn't listen to the podcast. Hey, let's go, if I may, let's go backwards to dropping you off last year versus going in this year. But like for people who are listening who have they're probably just dropped off their kids if they're going for their freshman year, stuff like that. You know, give us a contrast between this time last year, getting dropped off last year, and driving yourself to school this year. Your living situation last year, what you're looking forward to this year. Just contrast between the 2 years emotionally.
So it is actually like it's completely different, two sides of the spectrum. So last year, I get dropped off. I don't know when I'm going to work next. I don't know when I'm coming home. I don't have a car, and I'm living alone. Like, it's all... I thought living alone would be a great idea.
Mm-hmm.
Terrible idea.
Sounds nice on the surface, doesn't it? Like
It
your
does,
own
until
space
it's-
and your own, yeah.
Like 6 p.m. at night on a Wednesday, and you're like, well, I don't know what to do.
And then you get too
Wow,
much time
yeah.
inside your own head.
Right. But
I'm agreeing with what he said.
So contrast
So you
that
get
with-
dropped off.
Right. Okay.
Yeah.
Sorry. But now this year, I have my car because I'm getting a permit. I have roommates, 2 of my best friends from high school, Ben and Luke. And I do know like what my work schedule is right above the school year, so like I can plan for that. I can get into it. So just having the knowledge of where I'm going to be going, how I'm going to get there, like having a routine is helping me have more comfort in this school year rather than last school year.
So it's the fear of the unknown, and then finding out that you didn't like what was known last
Right.
spring. You know, like
Right.
you didn't know what to expect. Then you didn't like what you experienced.
Right.
Where now you have confirmation of what's coming and greater expectations of the year. You know, whereas you had no expectations and it was bad. Here you have great expectations and it might even be better than that.
Right.
Talk more about your living situation.
Which year?
Like where
Both?
you are. Yeah, both.
So last year in Oakland, there are 3 giant towers, Litchfield Towers, and I was in the single dorm room. So like, I was with every ROTC person.
I was just gonna say, because that's a perk. I mean, it really, like, you're in ROTC, you get the perk of your own dorm room.
Right. That's what they advertise it as. And
Yeah.
some people like, I know some
Sure.
people who did like it, but so I'm living in a room that might be, maybe the size of this table.
It was the
little bit-
1/3 the size
Is
of
it
this room.
is it one of the pizza slice rooms?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay.
or
Yeah.
Trivial Pursuit pie piece
Oh, okay.
is the way to look
I
at
understand that one.
it. Yeah.
But smaller than, because like Ben was in a pie slice room. He was in Tower B as opposed to your Tower C. But in a he had a roommate, so there were 2 of them.
Smaller than
I
this
can do
room.
math.
Oh, it's 1/3 the size of this room.
So a smaller pie slice. Yeah.
Absolutely.
Wow.
Yeah. It was really small.
So like this.
But this year I'm living in an apartment where my
Where's your apartment?
Center Plaza Apartments, it's a 30-minute walk from campus.
It's
Yeah.
actually Shady Side.
Yeah, it's a
But
little
you're on,
weird.
but you're on campus. Can you consider
I'm
it on
on
campus?
campus.
Yeah,
so-
quote unquote. Yeah.
But it's nice because you were in the jungle in Oakland,
Right.
which
and
you
now
did
I'm
not
like,
care for.
I did not. But
Oh,
Now
interesting.
I'm back
Okay.
here. So I have like a little separation from like looking across the street and seeing my computer science classroom. Now I can go home and be
You're
at home.
You
anticipating
can
a,
make some kind of a break, like
Yeah.
mental break,
Yeah.
and get out of it.
But now I live in an apartment with 2 of my best friends who I already know, who I'm already like accustomed to. And my room has a couch in it to show how big it is. Like
you
And
could
a
my
bed.
room is probably now the size of this room. Like,
Joe
my
hasn't
room.
seen his room yet, but I have. You could fit about 10 couches in your bedroom, Joe. Like, you're going to be very pleased with the
Table
size
and
of your
chair.
room.
Chairs.
It's a big apartment.
It's very big.
a weird
Well, it's a
apartment.
weird apartment. Yes, it has a very small living room, but 3 very nicely sized bedrooms, of which Joe's is the biggest because they drew straws or whatever, right?
I did it. So during the application process of it, I had to log on for Ben because he
Okay.
was at like a basketball game or something. And it was like, oh, choose your rooms. And it had like names. And I went, all right, boop, boop, boop. And then I find out, like, they text me and they're like, oh, who did you pick to get the biggest room? And I was like, I didn't. There are different size rooms. I didn't know that.
Right. Sure,
So it was
Joe.
random.
Sure.
Right.
No, just kidding.
It was random. But
Yeah, no, all the bedrooms are very nicely sized, but Joe's is the
That makes
biggest.
it's such a big difference.
Full kitchen?
Yeah, that's great.
Full kitchen,
Yeah.
2 full baths.
is there a fridge?
There's a full-size
13
fridge.
13
yeah.
of them. Yeah,
A
13.
dishwasher. Like, you guys are set. I'm serious. Like, and if anybody's wondering why I know so much, it is because I dropped Ben off
I was
early
scoping
for
it
band
out.
camp.
You
Yeah.
know
And
what
to
I'm
put
saying?
cameras in.
I wanted to look at your walk for ROTC. I was planning it out for you so I could watch you work out for ROTC.
You
joke
guys make
from
me
earlier.
sound
Well, no,
so
just-
creepy. That's
just-
a joke. That's the comedy from earlier.
Just because Ben's living there.
Right, exactly.
Is why.
Yeah.
And he got
does so
dropped
much.
off before he had to go up for band camp, where he was tested positive for COVID. And we've come full
Full
circle
circle.
again. So not to take you to dark places, but what were the worst moments of last year and why? And what helped you get through it?
Trying to think. Do you want like a specific
You
thing?
can go general time periods.
I would say about November to December was the worst.
That's when it like hit.
Right.
Okay.
Like for college being like, oh, this sucks.
And why?
Why? It was I was like overwhelmed with classes, even though I had some easy classes. Like it all started to be like, oh yeah, this is still college. Like it's still gonna be hard classes. And then I hadn't figured out my rhythm for working yet. Leah and I, my girlfriend, were apart for a while. It wasn't like we weren't seeing each other every day like we usually do, and we didn't find the rhythm yet to do that. And then getting through that was just, it sounds dumb, but waiting and thinking like it'll be better, it'll be fine. But like eventually for work, I figured out I could work Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday. I could work. I can come home on Fridays after my classes. I can go back Monday nights, like, because I only had one class on Mondays. So working through it and not being afraid of feeling hurt, that sounds dumb, but like knowing that it's okay to feel bad and knowing that it will get better is the thing that got me through it.
So escaping the present and having patience towards the future.
Right. Like looking big picture, as you told me a bunch of times to do. Looking big picture at the whole thing helped see like, oh, well, I'm looking right here, but everything out here, that looks a lot better, so let's just look out here.
Right.
Yeah, and that gets daunting when all you're looking at is the thing right in front of you and you lose that perspective because that's all
Right.
you're focused on.
Yeah. You can't, all the other stuff blurs out and you can't really focus on
And so you miss the gratitude that's still there, and all the good things.
It's funny because there can certainly be times like where it's good advice to be like, well, you'll hear therapists and people talk about being present. Like let's just, forget, don't worry about all the things that are coming or could happen or whatever. They, have a present mindset. But for you in that situation, it was almost it was the opposite. That
Right, because I was
the
in
present
You don't
was
want to be present
painful,
there. Yeah.
but let's look big picture.
You have to look for it. There's a certain time where it's okay to look forward and where you should focus right now.
And I would imagine like that November, I'm sorry, Jay, like that November period, it's kind of like, okay, now you have gotten to a little bit of a routine. Now you kind of have seen a little bit of a reality. And it's like, it's only November. This is going to be the rest of the year
into 8 more months.
Yeah, and that can hit you hard to again, to see that far out and the weight of that.
Would you say, the weekend we dropped you off was pretty bad?
Yeah.
Would you say that November was the culmination of the fears of that weekend?
Yeah. So like it was all like September and October. I was like, it was still new almost. So it had that new shiny little look to it. Like, oh, this is class. This is ROTC. This is
A little
where
bit
to
of
get food. This
that
is
honeymoon
like,
phase. Yep.
and then November hit and it was like, oh yeah, it's been hard for 2 months. It must be over soon, right? No.
Okay.
I still have 6-8 months to do it.
Yeah.
And what are your highest emotional needs?
I would say security and give me a second. Do you know the answer? Are you quizzing? I would say security is my highest right now.
Okay.
Just knowing.
We may have those available at some place.
Pull up my file.
Yeah, I believe Eric is pulling up the file right now.
But I mean, and that makes sense
Buffering.
in that you find peace in knowing, but then if you know something that's bad, then that's scary.
Right.
And so the other illustration I wanted to make, we just visited Indiana, where I went to school in Bloomington, Indiana, and Rachel kind of laughed at me because when we finally left Bloomington, we got out to the highway. I mentioned that Bloomington is a lot like Penn Hills in that there's a bunch of rolling hills. It's not flat at all, but it's unlike Pittsburgh in that we don't have any mountains at all. It's all like the highest elevation change is like 30 feet. And I said, until you get out on the highway, you realize how sight cramped you get. That you can never see more than a couple 100 feet in Bloomington because there's another rolling hill. And when you get out on the highway, you're like, Well, if you're trapped in Oakland, you can't see 20 feet And it's a building. It's in a building. It's a building. And it's this, overwhelming sense of presence around you. And it's sort of, this the jungle of the city.
Yeah.
And for somebody who needs to relax and have different perspective, it can be daunting.
Yeah.
I think it's going to be really great for you this year to be able to make that separation, get out of where the towers are and all that stuff.
Yeah.
And
to take a step back for a little bit and not have my education space and comfort space be so crammed together.
Right. Yeah. And you guys are going to be in a cool part of the city too. It's like where, anybody who's listening from Pittsburgh area, it's like where Shady Side meets East Liberty meets Bloomfield. It's like in this nice little corner of things on the east side of the city. Yeah. It's very cool.
There's a lot to do around there. There's a lot.
Yeah. You guys are going to have a good time.
So your emotional needs score is 7 for security, which is your highest.
Right.
Then acceptance, being loved even though you've made a mistake, is 6. And then your next 2 are approval or belonging, which is, here you are, alone. I'm a part
a
of
dorm room.
Nothing. And then support, having somebody come alongside you.
Right.
Alone. And feeling like a failure. Here I am. I'm supposed to be loving life. I have all this pressure. I got scholarship. Everything's good. And yet you're all by yourself. Mm-hmm. Gosh, I don't know how you made it.
How would his security how would his security be affected in that setting? Or if it was.
As in
how was your sense of security hurt?
Through that, through your down college.
How was your security not met or taken from you in your first few months?
Right. So I don't know what's going on. I don't know my regular schedule. I don't know the things I can control. I don't know. When I'm going home, when I'm working, when I'm seeing Leah. I can't control any of that. And the more that goes on, the more I feel like I don't control anything. And the more I feel like I can't see into the future. I just trick my mind into saying, this is it forever. This is never going to let up. And that cycle keeps going until I do something to actually be oh, it'll be okay.
Well, and if you go backwards, one of the benefits and one of the drawbacks of the public education system is it's all about scheduling. It's all about rhythm. And you found great comfort in that. You always did great in school, and I go here and I go there, and you never get in trouble and everything else until your sophomore year when school is abruptly just ripped from you.
Right.
And you go to cyber, remote, and then your junior year where you go to the hybrid model.
Junior and senior.
Oh, you did hybrid senior year for the fall?
Yep.
Wow, you really got shortchanged. So you go cancel junior year into hybrid model for your entire senior year? Oh, you went to 4 days a week or something?
It was 4 days a week for this.
So you didn't have so from your junior year through your senior year, you do not have a normal schedule.
Right.
Which launches you right into college where you have no semblance of normalcy.
Right. It's a completely foreign
Whereas
place.
College alone can be difficult. It's now compounded by your lack of a schedule over the last 2 years. So it's not only its own trauma, but it's multiplied trauma from the last 2 years when all normalcy was turned upside down.
Yeah.
I stand by my fact, or by my statement. It's a miracle you made it.
I did not believe in you, son.
No, I believed in you.
Crazy that you made it out.
No, and I'm saying that is an incredible thing. When you break it down like that, it's all upside down. And so your ability to refocus and sort of give yourself that schedule, and I think that we did work hard to get you some sort of a rhythm and some sort of a schedule. And we had all the pressure of everybody saying, hey, everybody struggles when they go to college, and the problem is when you come home too much. And people would say that to me, stop letting them come home. And I'm like, you trying to kill this kid?
Yeah. I would not have made it if I listened to that advice.
And to the point where I would drive you down, or you would drive down Sunday night, go to class Monday morning, drive home, and I drove him down every Monday night. So in essence, you're only there Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, halfway through Friday.
Days a week. Right.
Right. And people are like, wow. But it was a rhythm that you eventually found and
for
gave
me.
you that security so that you can know, okay, this is my schedule. This is my rhythm. And it's great to hear that you already have your schedule planned for this year.
Yeah, what a huge load off your shoulders this year.
Right. I don't have to figure out,
yeah,
everything.
That makes me happy.
And what's funny in our family Marcy, my sister called her sister-in-law, Rachel, my wife. She said, "So when does Joe go back to school?" And Rachel goes, also in very high need for security, Rachel. And she goes, I don't know. She goes, when is he moving in? She goes, I'm not sure about that. She goes, what does he need for his apartment? And Rachel's like, I don't know. And meanwhile, like Marcy right now actually is moving Mia into Liberty University, and she has all these lists and everything else. She goes, maybe it's different between boys and girls. And I'm like, no, because for Rachel, it's like, well, Joe's going to take care of that. If he needs my help, he'll ask me.
Right.
And if there's anything in between, Jay will take care of it.
Now, is Mia a freshman?
She's a sophomore. She
is
had
also
1 year at Geneva. Wasn't a
so
great
new
fit.
school. Yeah.
And now she's heading off to Liberty, which has a 4.1 star disc golf course on its property.
So you're going to be going out to see Mia?
I care about Mia. So tell us about what this year looks like from an ROTC perspective. Because last year, you walk in wide-eyed, bushy-tailed. At this point last year, you are petrified you're going to fail the physical test.
Correct. Yeah.
What are your emotions looking forward to this year?
Now that I know everything that goes on within ROTC, like the basics of it, like PT in the mornings, tests every couple months, it's a lot of pressure taken off. Like this year, it's a lot of pressure taken off with new things that I have to like look at. So I'm going to be a second year this year. So there are going to be people below me, not like in rank, but in experience.
You get to yell at them?
I don't.
Oh,
no.
okay.
Not yet. Give me 3 years and I will.
All right, cool.
Which is really Joe's style.
Oh, I love it. Oh, it's my favorite. I yell all of the time.
You're like, I'm sorry.
Yeah, I'm sorry. No.
I'll do
I was
your push-ups for you.
I was too loud. Too loud. But it's almost like that's where I'm curious, like, should I teach them things or should I let them figure it out, or will they care, or am I already thinking too much? But that's like not a big thing in my mind. It's just I'm looking forward to it instead of being petrified.
Yeah. And I think, after the year that you went through, there's that saying, adversity introduces us to ourselves. Mm-hmm. And far better this year what you're capable of. You've been through pressure. You've been through, physically with ROTC, emotionally with a lot of the things that you went through last year. You were stretched in a lot of ways. And so a lot of times, like, it sucks to go through, man. But once you get to that point, now you're coming into it going, I mean, not that you're not going to face new challenges, but that
Right.
you're a different vessel to be able to handle those challenges.
Like I'm looking forward to almost like ROTC was like I've learned to be like my escape from like I can use my, I don't want to call it depression because that wasn't it, but my anxiety, let's call it that.
You can channel
it into physical activity in the morning. So that's what helped also.
And ROTC was never negative for you last year.
Never.
That was
I
one of the
enjoyed
things that was your life preserver.
That's
every
nice.
ounce of ROTC I loved. So this year I am looking forward to that. And now that I know a way to get out some anxiety with challenges that I face, I'm not as scared to go into new ones because, like, I know where I'm going. I know how I'm going to get. I know everything that I didn't this time last year. And I know ways to resolve things that I might not know the answer to.
Yeah. Having an outlet like that is so good. I know with Ben, fall semester last year, he was in marching band. And so that was, that was a huge
It
activity.
was cloud nine. I mean, he loved it.
He loved it. Had a great fall semester, which is really, obviously, that's a great introduction to college for him, right? Like he had a lot of positive experiences, which was quite different from your experience, Joe. But then in the spring semester, he experienced some depression and did not enjoy it nearly as much. And also then in retrospect, he didn't have anything to do either. Like he had no outlets. So he found himself being bored or just inside his head too often, like we talked about with you earlier. And so we talked later about, maybe he needs to find something, some activity, some group, something to just, you got to unload a little bit,
channel
that
anxiety and stuff.
And I think for so many people in college, your roommate is your stressor. And so often people go away to school with their best friends and end up enemies and that kind of stuff. And I think in this case, these guys know each other so well. They've seen each other's, faults already. And they embrace each other. Like for their faults.
And they are that's a good group of three guys. Like as far as like being respectful of your roommates and tidying up after yourselves, I can't see them having nightmare roommate issues.
Right. And so therefore there's already your built-in respite, your safe space, your ability to breathe and whatever else. I was just thinking and jotting down, Joe, it seems like last year the question was, how can I possibly get through this? And now it's more a function of, how am I going to get through this? Like, it's not, the one was whether or not you're going to get through it.
Right.
Now it's, I have to figure out how I'm going to get through this, whatever comes my way. I know I
something's
can.
going to happen. How do I problem solve out of it?
Right. But I don't know what this looks like, but I know I can find a way. Whereas this time last year, not this time, but in a little bit last year.
2 days.
Yeah.
Last year.
Yeah. That was, some scary times.
Maybe this time it's looking more as like, this, I don't know exactly how it's going to play out, but
I have a prediction for it.
I'm up for it.
Yeah.
It's going to be an interesting adventure. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's more the problem solving than the overwhelming mountain
Right.
that
It's
it was
almost
last year.
like last year was a completely new subject that I don't know anything of, but now I know the basics, and now it's like I can deal with new things that are coming in and use past knowledge to help this.
If you were going to say anything to a freshman going into college, or maybe the parents of a freshman going into college, and I'll remove myself to a degree, maybe Chris, but like, what helped and what did you not get? Like, what would you tell is good for parents of freshmen in school?
Checking in, like talking to, like as the parent, like checking in with the kid, because it gets lonely sometimes, and it's always helpful to have like, oh, mom and dad called today. Like I can spend 30 minutes talking to them. Like it's a good escape from your own head.
Man, I love how that answer was on the tip of your tongue. That was a beautiful moment. Like you were just, as soon as your dad finished that question, you're like, checking in. Like that was great. I loved it. Sorry to interrupt. Please continue.
What was the second part of your question?
That's just it. Like, what advice? What helped you? What didn't help you or your friends? Or what could you have received that you didn't?
I can't
Checking
really
in's one.
think of the other two, but another helpful thing was like, well, I lost it. There you go. Tip of the tongue. Now I'm backlogged. I can't think of it.
I think it was very helpful, whether you're downtown or at the neighborhood campus or across the country, to remember that there are those lifelines, and sometimes, like you as the parent, you reach out, because sometimes if you do get depressed or you do get overwhelmed or anxious, there's that tendency to retreat or just stay stuck in yourself. And so when somebody reaches out to you that is solid, it kind of resets you a little bit, and that reaching out is like a lifeline that you didn't maybe know you need in that moment. So I think that's good for parents to remember, or people that are supporting somebody going to college.
And I would say one of the things that is important is really prayerfully considering, what does your child need versus what is conventional wisdom. I mentioned earlier how everybody said you got to let them go, you got to let them stay, and everything else. And then even at times with Rachel and myself, she's like, he's got to stay there more often, and I'd be like, look, you got to come home, or the Sunday night thing, is that what's best for you? And that's a whole lot. It's another night here, and we really prayed a lot about it, like, hey, what is best for him? Because you want your child to experience tough things, because hey, life isn't easy, but where is that breaking point where they're not going to make it? And even to the point of like the lunches you and I had. I would go down, and the first semester was Wednesdays. I think it was dead center of the week, and the last semester was Thursdays. We would just go get brunch somewhere. But I thought it was good because you got just that time alone with
interaction, right?
And we had always left camp. Like the first one, we stayed on campus, and then every other one we're like, okay, Mount Lebanon's a nice place. Let's go have lunch in Mount Lebanon. Let's go get lost in apparently Crafton Ingram.
Oh yeah,
that's a place.
Yeah. There's a good diner there. I forget what it's called though. But anyhow, my point is, I figured out what you needed, and you were honest with me, and you weren't proud, or you weren't. You were open. You were honest. You were vulnerable.
I wasn't pretending to be strong or anything like that.
Right.
I was being vulnerable.
That's what we like to teach around these parts.
Is that so?
And what was the best breakfast we had?
Oh.
Here, easier. What was the worst?
Oh.
What was the best? Oh. What was the worst? Oh.
Ooh.
The worst was in Market Square
Oh my goodness.
at the Cherry Hill Diner
Cherry
or
Hill
whatever
Diner.
it was.
Where a man had to be escorted out
Oh, he was confused.
for being confused.
At
Oh.
best.
Oh no.
He was an older gentleman.
Yeah.
But beyond that, the food wasn't good.
No. And the water was
A little metallic.
murky.
Sounds great.
If you love a bad experience, go there.
Oh, it was fun. We laughed.
Are your diner experiences too
Too
delicious?
good.
Too delicious.
Pleasant.
Do you
Clean.
enjoy yourself at diners just a little too much?
And the best was the Kraft and Ingram little
Yeah,
diner.
that's what I was going to say.
And that place, I mean, you go like past Station Square, and then you kind of wiggle up past McKees Rocks, and then you go through like 10 different neighborhoods, and then under a tunnel, over a bridge, through a little hollow, and then you're in this like really nice, but not
Super nice.
like it's a suburb that seems to be a bit run down, but everything's clean and nice.
It's in a shopping center.
Yep.
Half of it's in Crafton.
Half of it's in Ingram.
All right.
I used to live
It's,
over water.
it's a
over there.
weird shopping center, though, because I didn't, like, there were no name brand stores in there. It was all, like,
Grocery.
Walmart and
Wasn't even
House Depot.
It wasn't even Aldi. It was the Aldi version of Aldi.
It was just all
Oh.
D. No I on the end.
Did you guys go all the way out to like Apollo or some diner out in J&J's?
Now you said something about that.
No, did I forget?
No,
Am I making
you
that
made
up?
that up. Yeah.
We went to, like, North Hills.
We did North Hills. We did Mount Lebanon, but that was just Pamela's. DeLuca's is up there with our best. We like DeLuca's better than
DeLuca's
Pamela's.
was good.
That was fun.
Absolutely.
I don't know if we're doing that this year or not. Don't think you need it. We'll just see.
We'll see.
And that's the beautiful thing of that too is like, yeah, you know, you don't have to have everything in place right away. You can see what
Test the
happens. And,
waters.
yeah, exactly, and adjust as needed.
One of the first places we went was Ritter's Diner in Shadyside, which is right around the corner from where they're living.
Oh yeah,
Oh,
nice.
I didn't even know that.
It is. It's right there.
You'll have to show Ben and Luke some good diner experiences.
Okay.
There's Salvatore's down in Wilkinsburg. It's not too far from where you're going to be. They make really good really good wings.
I've heard of it.
Salvatore's.
Sounds familiar.
Mhm.
Why have I not heard of it?
Salvatore's is good, and they're like the big ones.
Irish place.
Yeah, very Irish.
Yeah, do a nice
Good,
stuffed
they have a
cabbage.
good rub. Good. Yeah.
Stuffed cabbage wings.
Well, fellas, any last questions for Joe this evening?
I wish you good fortune.
Thank you.
This year. I'm grateful to hear that you're going into it with a much different capacity for, what you're going to encounter, and just a much better, mental state of mind with it.
Thank you. Yes, I am.
Yeah.
And you've learned never tell your mother what you're doing with ROTC until after you've done it.
Correct.
And hey, we're all here for you too. So give any of us a text or a call if you need something.
Thank you. I will.
And Ben, Ben will take care of you. He's got it all.
If
under
you're
control.
scared,
If I'm scared, I'm
have
gonna go
Ben
to
answer the door. Joe, I've got it. Sir, take my wallet.
As a mathematician, we can solve this.
Oh my gosh, you guys are going to have a blast. And with that, we're going to end episode 168. As always, please make sure to give us a like or follow on social media and visit us at lunchtimeinrome.com. While there, make sure you take our relational needs questionnaire. Find out something about yourself and then how to love others. Thanks for joining us at the table for Lunchtime in Rome.
Bye.
Bye.